Good morning, everybody, and welcome back. Or if you're new here, welcome to another edition of Kingly Conversations, man. And we got a not so spicy film for you this week, but we still gonna keep it going. Before we get into all of that, though, Zoe's got a shout out.
I do? Okay. Well, if I do, shout out to everybody that's listening, man. Appreciate you. We're going to talk about some things, man. Follow along, man. Hope you learn something, get something from it. That's all I got. Appreciate you.
This week, we're going to be talking about early retirement and maybe some strategies on how you might be able to do that. But we're going to see what we get into. So strap in. Let the Kings talk about it. All right, good people. Hey, welcome back to another edition of Kingly Conversations, man. And as I am every single week, you know who it is. It's Alan.
Yo, what up? It's your boy Twine, a.k.a. Twine. Ask me about my podcast. You know what time it is. Let's go.
This is your friend, your mentor, Calvin D. Hill.
All right. So, who's this? Is this mine?
Early retirement. This is you.
This me?
Mm-hmm.
No,
Zoe created a note.
Oh, Zoe did that.
It's me. It's your boy. It's your boy. All right, so let me start off by saying early retirement. I said early retirement, but just retirement in general. All right, let's just start there. I ask myself a question because I think about it often. Like, what does retirement look like to me?
Mm-hmm.
So I will start with that. Retirement to me is having multiple streams of income, being able to still get paid just by, waking up and just living and just getting paid that way. Sorry. I got alarm systems in the house, so we stay protected around here. So it just means for me to be comfortable, and I don't. My vision is not being all extravagant with the most expensive things and things of that nature, but maybe some road trips, some trips to places I've never been before, but still financially being comfortable. For me, moderately, because I'm a simple guy. I try to keep things simple. But sometimes I just want to splurge a little bit. But anyway, so that's what it looks like to me, man. Just being able to be comfortable, not having to be worried about waking up 9 to 5 in it. Just going out and doing what you want to do, investing your money and making that grow and having that continuous process going over and over again, repeating itself. So with that question, what does retirement look to y'all? Do y'all think about things of that nature?
Go ahead, Calvin.
I do. Retirement to me is $95,800 and something odd dollars a year. That's what retirement is for me. I need to have that much income outside of me going to somebody's physical job. Mm-hmm. So that's what retirement looked like to me. So I'm working towards that
number. Your retirement, the number. Okay.
Yeah, it's a number. It's really not a timeline. Whenever I have that much coming in consistently, then I can say I can retire.
Gotcha.
I would say that I think about it all the time, but I think for me, retirement is number depending upon where I might decide to live. Because for me, a part of the retirement plan might be to move to another country. Because like with Calvin talking about the number, so 95,000, what was it, 700?
Yeah, some change.
95,000 change. So,
yeah.
So the question I always have to ask myself is, how far is my 95? How far is my number going to go in one country versus another. Right? Because I know that at least I have the ability to live somewhere else if we chose to. We have not chosen to yet, but that doesn't mean that, I don't know what the next 40 years holds as far as that goes. So for me, when I'm thinking about retirement, I'm thinking about, okay, where in the world do I want to retire? And how much money am I going to need to retire there? Because, and that could also be where in the United States. It doesn't have to be outside the United States, but where in the world do I want to retire, and how much money am I going to need? Right now, but the other part of that for me is I also want to be able to do what I want to do when I want to do it with the people that I want to do it with. I don't ever see myself doing what most people consider retirement. I think I would just retire from having a W-2. But I'm not a person, I don't have the ability to sit idle. And like for one side of my family, they kind of have the ability to sit idle where we're not really doing anything. I've still got to be doing stuff. I've got to be involved in stuff. I've got to be planning stuff. So I don't know that I'm going to I don't know that I'm not going to do that all the way into the grave. It just might mean that I don't need to. But for my sanity, I need to. I'm not going to be a gardener. That's never going to happen. I do know how to tend a garden, but so for me, retirement is that it's a number, but it's also a lifestyle. And those two things don't necessarily relate to one another. They are complementary, but they're not direct correlations. In other words, if the number was 95,000, which it actually wasn't even that high, but the number was 95,000, can I live the lifestyle I want to live on 95,000? And if the answer is yes, then fine.
Got it. Well, just touching on, you mentioned that you feel like you need to stay moving and doing something versus, people who do retire that don't do anything. I have had a lot of conversations with a few folks that are already in retirement, and they have the mindset to where they have to keep moving. Like I feel like personally, if they don't move, they feel like they're not going to make it as long as if they were active. So they stay active doing things. It doesn't have to be major things. That could be projects around the house or community, working in the community and things of that nature, so they can stay active. So they don't get complacent and just sitting on the couch and not doing anything. So that reminded me of that many conversations I had with a few people. So for retirement, I believe personally that you have to have a clear vision. It's something that you don't want to just blindly go into without doing some information and research to find out your best options in doing so. So with that being said, I wish I would have started earlier in planning my retirement.
You always will.
I definitely feel as if I was educated or if I took the time to learn more about it. But to be honest with you, being young out here in the streets, that was like way in the back of my mindset.
Right. In some respects, I think that in terms of that, how early should you start planning? I think that how we're raised has a lot, or at least some responsibility in how we view that, because depending upon where you come from culture wise, those conversations were probably had with you or not had with you, right? Depending on where you come from culture wise, because I know people that have had retirement accounts since. And I say accounts because they have a multi-pronged approach, right? So they've had retirement accounts since their first job. I mean, like at 16, they started putting away, whether that was savings, whether that was into an investment account of some sort. But they were taught to put away for the age they wanted to retire. That to take a little bit of money out of every single check, every dollar that you get, and put it over here. And that just wasn't something that I was taught,
Me
coming
neither.
up. And I don't even know that it was something that, I don't know how you have to be taught by somebody who's financially strong. I don't want to say stable, but financially strong. Those people are probably going to teach their kids, this is what you want to do, so that you can have something, when you get into your golden years, or whenever you just decide you want to stop working.
I definitely didn't see none of that or hear or got taught that type of mentality, because all I saw was, hey, if you got it, spend it. It ain't going with you when you leave, so might as well spend it, baby. That's
No,
all.
I wasn't toward a retirement plan until I was well into my adult years. Well into it. Didn't even have the discussion on how to.
And so it puts us behind
or what it is. It
the
was the mindset we grew up with. And this is in the 80s, early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
You just gonna go find somebody to work for, and you're gonna work for them for 30 something years, and then they're gonna give you a pension plan or something like that.
Yeah.
That no joke. That
No.
was go be civil service or go work for this business and work for them for however many years, and then when they tell you you finish, you done.
You got half of whatever they used to pay you. I know.
That was the plan. That was what we were taught growing up.
I know it.
And it's nothing like that. That's not the reality.
It wasn't, and the crazy thing is, it wasn't the reality when it was taught to you. It was the reality for them, but it wasn't the reality when it was taught to you.
Right.
So, with that being said, when it comes to retirement, time is your best friend. The earlier you start, the better. An example of that is like the snowball effect. The ball just keeps getting bigger and bigger the longer it rolls in the snow. It's my way of thinking of it, in regards of sharing with other people and
but that's
people.
But to me, that's financial management. That's money management that we're not taught either young in our culture.
Oh no, none of that, never that.
Understanding how interest works and
compounding and
so. And to learn different accounts, retirement accounts.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't for Ashley, I'm telling you, we wouldn't have known half of it, and wouldn't have been actively doing it.
And in that regard, then let's go ahead and talk about getting yourself a financial advisor.
I've seen two. All
right,
but I haven't.
Just for the listeners, having a financial advisor, I don't know if Calvin, you say you did. Alan, I'm not sure if you have, but I definitely have. I know one personally. Shout out to Ashley.
Well, I won't say I've had a dedicated financial advisor. The problem that I generally have had is, well, I won't say problem. I've had to, sometimes I've been looking for investment vehicles that the financial advisor didn't know anything about.
That's not good.
Well, but I won't say it's not good or not or at all, because they can't know everything, right? They know what if they work for a company, they know whatever that company pushes, but they might not know about products that might be out there on the fringes, because there's not a lot of people looking for it, right? It's no different than in one of my businesses. I don't necessarily know all the stuff the CDLP program does, but I know what the regular program does. Mm. But if somebody at least I know enough about it to know that if somebody mentions it, I can find this resource to talk about it. And that sometimes so I don't have a problem with financial advisors that don't know a thing. The only time I might have an issue is if they don't know it, and then also when I bring it up, they try to steer me away from the investment vehicle instead of trying to find out why I want to use that investment vehicle. That's the only, and I've had that happen more than once, but because they know what they know. They're like, well, I think you should do this. Well, why do you think I should do this versus this other investment vehicle? And then they got no answer.
Because they don't have the information and they didn't research what you research. And
my thing is, if you don't have the answer, I'm okay with somebody telling me, hey, I think you should do this, but let me go and look at both of these. Let me compare apples to apples on these two investment vehicles, and then I can give you a more coherent answer. But I know that I'm different in that because a lot of people are going to want you to know it right away. I don't expect you to know every investment vehicle that exists because there's thousands of them. But if I bring you one, I do expect you to say, okay, well, let me go check this out, and I'll bring it right back to you. Or let me get the big homie, as I call it. Let me see if I can grab the big homie and see if they know about this, and then we can have a conversation about it.
Gotcha. I will say that I'm influenced by what I see. And with that being said, when I see the older generation out struggling to make ends meet and things of nature because they didn't plan, that puts fear in me in regards of me focusing on, or at least taking time out to understand which direction I'm going when it comes to me getting in my elder years. Like how can I make sure that I am not in a position where I still got to be out here working in places that I'm gonna just be honest, man. When I see the people, when I see the people in like Starbucks or Walmart, and I mean, some people they do it because they want to stay moving, but you have other people who have to do it and they have no other option to because they're trying to make in. They're trying to. Can I say survive? Is that?
Yeah, no, that would be true. I think I do think sometimes though we should give those folks a little bit of grace because we don't know the story of how they got there, right? Because I've heard of, especially with the information that we were taught, go to work for somewhere, get your pension type of information. I know people that have been fired in their 19th year intentionally. Well, I shouldn't say no. I know of people who have been fired in their 19th year intentionally so that the company could avoid paying that pension. Because the pension didn't go into effect unless you retired. If you got fired, that pension was null and void. And so they were doing, I mean, listen, it's so, and that, I'm not saying that's the reason why that person was in Starbucks or a greeter at Walmart or what have you. But
on the flip side, I know of some people that have squandered away their retirement in regards of working for a company and doing things that are outside of the policies and the ethical code of that company, and lost majority of what they worked for 20 something plus years. So like you said, I understand what you're saying, but there's also, a flip side to that. So you have people who have been in an unfortunate situation. Some have been manipulated to the point where you said the company fired them intentionally so they wouldn't have to pay the pension. And then you got other people out here that just think they're untouchable and do what they want to do, get caught up, and then lose everything. So
all of them happen.
Yeah, all of the above. So either way, I understand. I did not say that to be judgmental. Well, no, I did. I did.
I know. That's why I said what I said. I was like, we don't know the story, man. So, hey.
But I just for me though, it just helped. I don't know, man. It just keeps me in check, man. Like I guess it keeps me humble as well and it also keeps me thriving to educate myself so that I don't get in a position, God forbid that I do. However, that's why I'm trying to do things and set things in place. So when that time comes, when it is, I'm done with the 9-to-5 and I'm done working for other people, and I decided I want to do my own thing, I'll be in a better position to do so. That's all. So if I sound judgmental, I am, but it's just so I can keep myself in check, man.
But I would, and I would say that, I think a lot of times, some people, because of that upbringing, they were sold the lie and they believed it for too long. And because the one, but it's also it's that critical thinking piece, right? Because they believed it for, when I say too long to the point that you could make up for lost time. I mean, because the truth is you can never really make up for lost time. You'll always be behind where you were if you had started taking control of your own retirement early. I remember Jim Rohn saying that if you 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 take control of your own retirement, you get to multiply by 5. But if you let the government take care of it or some company take care of it, then you got to divide by 5. And so I've that always just sat with me and saying that I need to be responsible. So even whatever my company may have, I still need to have retirement outside of whatever the company may have. And it's one of the reasons why, I've been seeking that P&T because once that's a great pot that would always be there in theory, as long as the government exists, right? Mm-hmm. But in addition to that, so that would be that. It would be whatever my company retirement is, whatever my business incomes are, because the way that I set up all of my businesses is that I don't have it's not labor intensive. So it's not going to matter how old I am. I can continue to do all of those things if I choose to, right? Because I can continue to sell T-shirts. I ain't got to do nothing other than market. I can continue to market legal expense plans. All I got to do that is meet people, and I can continue to do the podcast. So so you've seen me setting up my retirement the entire time, because to retirement to me, like I said, is just doing what I want to do when I want to do it with the people that I care about. That's really all retirement is to me.
Oh,
that's all. That's all retirement is to me. And so, and not having to being in a situation where I don't have to be that door greeter at Walmart or that person at Starbucks or what have you. Now, if I want to do it, because I thought about working at Starbucks, because at one time they had some incredible IVF programs. I don't know if they still have them, but at one time they had a bunch of programs that if you worked there, you got free IVF.
Oh, word. Good shout out to them. I'm not sure if that's still that.
Me either. That's why but so that's why I say that's.
It may have been true then, sir, but it may not be true now.
May not be. So that's why people, they do need to decide what they want to, who they want to be in retirement. And
can I say something?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but go ahead and finish your thought. And then
that's all I was going to say. When they decide who they want to be in retirement, that helps determine what road you need to walk.
Got it. So I will share with y'all personally that I have watched someone's retirement get spent up to the point where they ran out of money. I've seen where they lost everything, whether it's land.
How much was retirement? Do you know?
I don't know how much. I know that at one point they was touching $1 million.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
Somebody had shown me the bill itself. I'm like, hey, yo, that's crazy. How do you even get that? But anyway, because they had land and they had some developers that wanted to buy the land. So of course, that deal didn't go through because of the money. The company who wanted to build apartments in the woods. Mm-hmm. They couldn't come up with the rest of the money. But anyway, so with that being said, I'm talking about the loss of all your assets, everything like liquid, invest everything that was squandered. And I think for me, that's why it's so deeply rooted in why I think the way I think when it comes to planning for the future in regards to retirement, and also now in the present, what I do with my finances and how I move assets and things of that nature. So I just wanted to say that because initially I was like, yo, the person at Walmart or the person at Starbucks, for me, it's deeper than that, and it goes further back in history for me, because, watching that and just watching people wither away and like financially and physically because they didn't prepare themselves. And in one case, the person that did have the retirement plan or whatever, they passed away. And then what was left, I'm talking about that thing was, you talking about burning money? Mm-hmm. Burning money, just throwing it out there and not taking care of responsibilities. So you can ask Ashley right now. I used to get like very tense when it came to like bills and stuff like that. Initially, if it wasn't paid on time or something fell behind, my whole demeanor would change. It would change because what I witnessed in the past affected me to the point where I can't have it. I can't have it. But now I'm serious, man. And it was really bad. It was really bad to the point
But that may be a good thing because that makes you manage money differently now.
Yeah. I mean, I've grown.
And hindsight.
Yeah.
After it's all said and done.
Yeah. Now I'm a little better at it, but I still, when I get to a certain point, I'm like, hey, yo, I feel I get a little itchy. You know what I mean? It's time to buckle down and figure things out. But so that's where, for me, the planning of retirement and why I think of it, because I don't want to work until I'm broken down. And I can't enjoy what I work hard for. So that's another goal of mine as well. So with that being said, there are some balances to the risk and reward when we get into the type of investments for retirement. And I do have a few up here that I wrote down, just the basic concepts of the construct of, I'm sorry, what you got, Alan?
Well, because it was the very last thing you said. I think that's why some people end up going broke in their retirement, is because they like, I want to be able to enjoy, not realizing you have to enjoy within your means. You still got to enjoy within your means, especially if you aren't going to continue to, because like the podcast, Legal Expense, and T-shirts, I can do that the rest of my life. Like I don't really ever consider myself retiring from those things. It's just, to me, it's just getting rid of a W-2. Everything else outside of that is just a part of who I am. Mm-hmm. Like when I go to work, that's what I do. It's not who I am. The rest of the stuff is who I am. And so I think a lot of times people get into retirement and they have no way of continuing to earn an income. All they have is retirement and Social Security, or whatever or however big the pot is in those accounts that we're about to talk about. However big the pot is, it's just an inevitably decreasing pot of money, as opposed to having ways to replenish those coffers on a daily, weekly, monthly, annual basis. Because if you're somebody like if you like the intertwined group over there, and you've got multiple properties all across the United States, then that's going to be that's even in retirement, that's still there to continue to pay you. So I think I just, when you were saying that, you want to be able to enjoy it, I think that's where the people, not that you shouldn't enjoy it, I think that's where some people get themselves in trouble, is because they're like, oh, let me take this 6-month cruise. Let me do this. Let me do that. Because they got this. Because for some people, depending on how their retirement is paid out, when they retire, they just staring at $1 million. Not realizing this $1 million has to last you another. You got a plan for 120 years. You probably won't get there, but you still got a plan for 120 years, because otherwise you'll run out of money. Mm-hmm. And again, if you don't have any type of replenishment to that money, then it is a constant negative drain on that account. Whether those accounts are so let's talk about these 401ks, IRAs, and
all money in, baby, all money in. So these are the very basic ones. The 401k, which most people are familiar with. Then you have the IRA, and then you have the Roth IRA. Outside of these, you have other things as far as whole life. You can use that. You can also look into annuities as well, another way of investing. So these, I'll just stick with the 401k, very traditional. Some companies that you work for, they have this tank you put money into, and sometimes they match it, sometimes they don't. But this one is just a means of whatever you put into it is what you get in return, and is the taxes are taken out at the end, I believe, for these. So so with those, I mean, you get taxed if you take out money prior to I forgot which age
you
it
get
is.
taxed either way. You just get it's a penalty if you take it out before your age. But
Okay.
either way, that money is non-tax going in, so it's taxed coming out.
Gotcha. So yeah, there's it's tax coming out, and there's a penalty if you take it out too soon. Roth IRA
Hang on.
is. I'm listening.
I would just say on the 401k, I would just say if your company does have a match, I would take advantage.
Oh yeah,
definitely. Of that Roth IRA. If they don't have a match, because like in my company's case, we don't have a choice. You got to put in a certain percentage into the 401k. There's no way around it. There's no like form you can fill out and say no, I want to invest other places. But if they didn't have a match, I would still take. I would increase I would increase it and then move that additional money to like an IRA or a Roth, like you get ready to talk about. But gotcha. But if you have the ability to get a match, get that match, man. Take their money. Take their money. If they're gonna give it to you, take it.
Facts, man. Facts. So again, moving to the IRA. Now with that one, you might want to actually check in on that one. I lost my notes here.
Uh-oh. I mean, I have a Roth. I don't have an IRA, but
yeah. So personally, I have a Roth as well. So I'll just talk about what I know. For the listeners, if you want more information on that, I'll definitely do research on the IRAs. I know that they're similar to the 401k in regards of the taxes is taxed after versus being taxed prior to when you put the money in. Roth IRA, it's taxed in the beginning. So when you take out it's not taxed. And also that I don't think there's any penalties on that one.
There is if you take it out before the age. There is an age penalty. Okay, so there are penalties if you take it out before the age. Most people
59 and a half.
Yeah. So and I personally like the Roth because of that non-tax on withdrawal. Because I don't know what tax bracket I'm going to be in when I'm ready to start withdrawing. I can't even say that I'm going to, because some people are like, well, I'm going to withdraw at whatever age. I don't even know that I'm going to initially withdraw. I might just keep putting into it till I'm like 75, 80. Who knows?
Yeah.
Because none of these investment vehicles, none of these retirement investment vehicles indicate that you have to pull it out. Like, I mean, there are some that say you have to pull it out by age such and such, but just because you retired at 55 or 65 doesn't mean you have to draw that specific retirement income if you don't need it.
Right.
You can let it sit there and continue to grow. But I like the Roth because it is taxed, because it's taxed on the front end. It's not taxed on the back end. The other thing that most people don't mention is, as we get older, most people need more in the way of health care. And so if you also have the ability to say have an HSA, that's another way you can do some level of tax sheltering for your money, because that if you have an HSA specifically, because you're putting in that money is also non-taxed. Like when you use it for qualified medical expenses, that money is also not taxed, and you have the ability in most of them to invest that money as well and earn those gains into that medical retirement account. Because as we get older, most of us are going to use more medical care, and a lot of people don't plan for it. But medical is a huge problem for why a lot of older people have a hard time in their latter years.
Say that
they spend a whole lot more money on their health care than somebody in their 30s. Apples to apples, anyway. If you got issues, then you got issues at whatever age. But as we get older, because now you have more tests, you might now also have the gout or the arthritis or whatever you run into, right? Hopefully nothing.
That blood work in, baby.
Yeah, always. So I wanted to just add that HSA because I think a lot of times we forget about the medical component to our retirement. Now, in the case of somebody who might be able to get services at like the VA, because we live in a huge military area, maybe you feel like you don't have to worry about that, but I would still say you want to plan for it because at least in the HSA is very flexible. You can just buy Zyrtec and Mucinex with your HSA. It doesn't necessarily have to be a doctor's visit, but and it's also not, you don't have the annual limits that you have with like an FSA. So if you have an HSA, just look into that. I mean, because essentially everything over $2,000 in my HSA, I invest and earn money on that money. And that's pre-tax dollars going into the HSA. So it's pre-tax dollars that you aren't going to get taxed on if you use it for qualified medical expenses, no matter how large it grows. I'm just saying. One of those things people don't think about.
Yeah, that is true. I mean,
it's the only investment vehicle I know of where you can invest pre-tax dollars and it not get taxed on the back end.
See, I like it. Again, education, learning, just keeping your mind open up to things, man, for those who are thinking about, investing in money in general. So that's good stuff. I like it. Let's talk about the risk.
Yeah. I mean,
are you willing to risk?
There's always, no matter what you do in this life, man, there's always going to be some level of risk. I mean,
it's all risky.
Right. I would just say that, except the to me the risky thing is doing nothing, not planning it at all. You can anything that you invest, you always will have the potential. Not that you will, but you always have the potential to lose that money that you've invested. Always. But so what? The other option is leave it under a mattress. I tell people all the time, like whether it's at work or in your investment accounts, look, if you're not making 4% on your money, 4.5%, because historically inflation has been 4.5% for roughly the last 100 years, average. If you're not making 4.5% at minimum on your money, you're losing money every year. So if you don't get a 4.5% raise at the job, you're losing money every year. If your investment accounts don't grow at least a rate of 4.5%, you're losing money every year. You might not feel like you're losing money, but in terms of buying power, you are losing money every year. But I've been saying that since I was in my 20s. Right? So in terms of buying power, every year you are losing money if you don't find a way to make your money grow in all the areas of your life that it can.
Okay.
At least that's my personal feeling. Everybody can feel however they want. Get your own financial advisor.
Yeah. Cue the music, man. Calvin, what you got, man?
No, y'all said, find a financial advisor to help you manage your finances the way you see you retiring.
Right.
Whatever it is to you, whatever retirement is to you, you need to make a plan to fulfill that vision for you and your family.
And if part of your retirement plan means you got to have a personal chef, hey, just increase that number by at least $30,000 a year. You'd be good.
Cue the music.
I would say that some people will never retire.
Nope.
So, I mean, you can look at it in both ways. You can look at it as some people will never retire because they didn't plan for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the people that will never retire. Like Alan was saying, like no matter what, he's still going to be doing what he's doing. So for him, retirement is just, I guess, not being held accountable for somebody you're working for. So either way, man, either way.
I will tell you when I experienced my version of retirement. I don't know if y'all remember this, and I don't know what y'all did with it. But if you remember when everybody went on terminal leave after we got back from Iraq, to me that was retirement because I woke up every day and did what I wanted to do and still got paid. So whatever that was, most of the time I'll go to the gym in the morning. I would go do this in the afternoon. I might have an appointment or two in the late afternoon or something like that. And then I would go take care of this. I was just living my life, doing what I wanted to do, seeing the people I wanted to see, and still got paid. To me, that is my version of retirement. Whatever number that needs to be. So people just got to figure out their number and figure out who they want to be in retirement. Because what you do is not necessarily who you are. So who do you want to be in retirement? Do you, I'm not using this because Calvin's here, but do you want to start a ministry of some kind in retirement? Because now you have time to maybe go out during the day and minister to people.
Bishop.
Right? Or do you want to start your own version of Meals on Wheels because the government funding is drying up for that? Maybe you want to do it as a nonprofit and have people go and sit with the elderly people and bring them food and just have a conversation and just talk to them. Because so many people that are older that, either didn't have kids or don't have kids that are around. And so they're just lonely and alone. And you might have a heart for that. So you got to decide what you want to do and who you want to be in retirement. And then you can start, putting some numbers to it like Calvin did. But some people ain't retiring. I mean, I ain't retiring like most people consider retiring. I ain't ever doing that.
Gotcha.
I don't even know what that looked like.
Appreciate y'all. Thanks for listening. Hopefully got something from it. Generally speaking, do some more research for yourself, man. Whatever you need to do, or not, and do what you do.
Or not, and just be a dog greeter. I know that's what. He's so judgmental.
Oh, I am, man. I am. I need help. I need help.
Calvin said he had a therapist for you. He don't know the name of them, no.
Oh Lord, some random out there.
I know her name.
Oh, you figured out her name?
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Dr. Mac, man. Appreciate you in all the therapy sessions. Matter of fact, I'll see you in a couple weeks.
All right. Hey, we'll see y'all next week, man.
Yeah.
Recording stopped.
All right.